This is about trigonometric in mathematics. So we are going to use a very simple and pure exams questions to demonstrate the idea for trigonometry. But before you proceed to that point, let's get a simple understanding of how the trigonometry could work in mathematics or what we use it for in the real life. Right now, the concept of trigonometric is to determine the distance. So what I mean by the distance is that let's say you live here, right? So let's say you live here and your friend also stays here, right? So maybe your friend stays here, right? So you want to determine the distance between the two of you. Is that okay? So this is the distance from here to here. But this mostly happens to let's say three or more people. So let's say you guys have your school to be somewhere here. Is that okay? So the three of you are going to form what we call in mathematics a triangle, right? So this is a triangle. That's the name behind that. Since you guys are three involving, so trigonometric help us to understand the distance between from here to here, or maybe from here to the school. Let's say you live here, you want to determine the distance. How long will it take you to walk from your place to the school, right? And how long will it take you for your friend to also walk from here to the school, or maybe from where you are to your friend's house? Is that okay? So that's a very simple concept about what trigonometry. So the second part is to determine the angle, right? So what I mean by the angle is that let's say you are here, right? So if you are here, you are on this lane or this route to the school, you have to turn at certain angle, right? A certain distance or maybe a curve before you get to the road that leads from your house to your friend's house. So this is what we call the angle. So the trigonometric here helps us to determine two things. So one is the distance, right? So one is the distance and then two is the angle, right? So the angle at which you have to turn before you pick what? Your route to your destination. Now let's have a look at the pure exams questions. So according to the question, we have a diagram like from P to Q, right? So P to Q, and then R, U, R, as well as what? T, S, right? So that's what we have from the diagram. Now, for understanding purpose, let's replace these letters with what? Something that you already know. Is that okay? So P here, let's say this P is where our school is what located. So let's say the school is at what this junction. So P, and then we have what your home, right? You watching me right now. Maybe you live at what Q. So let's say your home or maybe your house is what is Q. So the R, I'm just replacing that by what your father's house, right? So this is where your father lives, or maybe your father has a house here, right? And then the U here, it can be your chapel, maybe if you are a Christian in that case, right? Just for understanding purpose, right? And then the S here can be what your childhood friend's house, right? So your childhood friend's house, and then finally we have what the T to be a park, right? So maybe this can be a playing ground, right? So that is exactly a simple understanding paper. So as I said earlier on, we are going to determine the distance between these things as well as the angle with the help of what? Trigonometry, right? Now let's proceed. Now the question says that these three guys, right? So we have these three people poles which are on the same horizontal ground. So what I mean by the horizontal ground here, this is the horizontal ground. So let's say from left to right, or maybe from right to left, right? So this line from here to here is what we are having what the horizontal. This is just horizontal. That is the name in mathematics. A line moving from left to right, or maybe from right to left for understanding purpose, right? So these are the people, these are the pole. Maybe let's say this is the root on what? This horizontal line, right? So maybe this is one way here. Obviously, this is a one way from what Q here, maybe from your house to what? Your childhood friends. Or this is a straight line or a straight route from what? Your place to your childhood house. So that's what we are calling what? Horizontal line. So if you have another route here, another road, right? So that's move from your house to the top here to the school. Is that okay? So this route is on the what? The road that leads from your house to your childhood house. So the same route here, we have another route here, and then we have another route here at all this point. Now, they say the line is that okay? So in mathematics, that's what we call what? A line. So if you have a symbol that looks something like this, so you have a symbol that will be what? PQ, right? So you have a PQ, right? So this tells you that the distance or the line, the length, is that okay? So maybe how long will it take you to get to from P to Q? Is that okay? That is what very very simple, right? So that is very very simple. So in mathematics, that is what it means. So the line from P to Q here, we are told that is what 10 centimeters, right? So maybe sorry 10 meters. Is that okay? So from P to Q. In other words, here maybe from your school to what to your home. Is that okay? From the school to your home, that is 10 meters long, right? So that's just what 10 meters long. So and followed by you have what UR. So maybe UR. So maybe that will from the chapel to your father's house. That is going to be 4 meters long. And then finally we have what T to S, right? So T to S here is going to be what 8 meters long. So maybe from the park or the playing ground here to your childhood friend's house, that's what 8 meters long. That's very very simple. Now these people are asking us to find something. What are they asking us to find? They say that if the angle of elevation, that is just one word. So the angle of elevation of P and Q from U are 51 and about 20 centimeters, right? So 20 degrees respectively, right? So the angle of elevation, what that means is that if you see something is elevation, so maybe elevate, you are elevating, maybe let's say you are going up. Is that okay? So this is the angle. The angle of elevation from U. So if you don't even know the word elevations. They say from you, meaning that you are starting from what? From you. So the angle of elevation is somewhere facing what? The top. Right. So the angle of elevation always go up. You are elevating, escalating, right? So the angle of elevation from you. So this should be the angle of elevation. So, obviously, so you have to make sure that you divide this line here into two equal parts for you to have the angle of elevation here. Right? So here is 51. Here should be what? 20 degrees. Is that okay? So the angle of elevation always goes up, right? So from where you are always facing up, right? So you are elevating or escalating. So from your that's what 51 and what 20 degrees what respectively. Then they say find correct to two decimal places. The distance between Q and what and S. So Q and S mean that we want to determine the length, how long or what to be the distance that we are going to cover from our home here to your childhood friends or house. That is very very simple, right? So let's see how to do that. The tools that we are going to use to solve this problem is what we call before that let's say that is a SOCAT, right? So cat. Don't worry about this. I'll explain this in just a few minutes. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Now, what this thing is that we have a tool called sine, right? So sine theta. So sine theta here represent the angle, right? So the angle that you have already explained that angle. So that is sine theta is got opposite over so cut, so that should be h, right? So here should be h. So got so opposite of our hypotenuse. If you don't know anything about this thing, don't worry, I'll explain this thing. So make sure that you watch the video to the end. And then can here means what cos theta, right? So cos theta that should be equal to adjacent over what hypotenuse, right? So adjacent over, and then finally this is what we are going to use here. So that is what tan theta. So 2 means what tan theta that is equal to what opposite, right? So opposite over adjacent. Is that okay? Where do you use these three things? You use them if you consider that you have a three people, just like the beginning of the video. You are here, right? So you are here. Your friend also lives here, right? And then maybe you guys, your school is somewhere here. The three of you are forming what we call a triangle at the beginning. But if this triangle forms what a right angle triangle, right? So if this thing forms a right angle, what I mean by a right angle triangle is that if one side of this shape is what a 90 degrees, is that okay? So this is just a symbol of what the 90 degrees, then it means that we can apply these three things. Is that okay? Pay close attention. If the shape that you guys are forming is not what a right angle, is not a 90 degrees, you cannot use this thing. So the one that we are going to use to solve this problem is what we call what this guy, right? So tan theta. So let's see how to apply what this problem. Now, we want to determine the distance from what your home to what your childhood friend's house. So let's begin. So you have that this symbol here stands for what? A triangle. Is that okay? So triangle PUV. So triangle PUV. What it means here is that P. Look at something. PUV. Is that okay? So PUV. That is what. Now before this one, let's break the distance. Now we are told from the question that from here to here is what 6 meters, right? So from here to here is 6 meters from the question, and then down here is going to be 4 meters. Since everything is what 10 meters, can you see that everything here is what 10 meters? So we are told this thing from the question like here is 6 meters, so here is 4 meters. Here to the same thing. So if you split this into two, you are going to have a 4 meters here and then 4 meters. That is what the question says, right? So we just need to make sure that you obey what the rule. Is that okay? That's very very simple. So because everything here is eight what 8 meters. So the whole distance from the park, the playing ground here to your childhood friends is 8 meters. So from here to here is 4 meters, and then from here to here is 4 meters from the question. So you can decide to rename this point here. Name it and give me in the comment section below what you are going to replace this W by, as well as the V by, right? So using some just analogies. So okay, now you have that from the triangle PU and then V. PUV. Is that okay? So PUV here is what a 90 degrees, right? Here is the reason is that at the beginning we were told that this is what a straight line from here to what the horizontal ground, right? So from here to here, this is what straight line. So any straight line joining another what horizontal ground here is what it forms what a 90 degrees. So here is going to be what a 90 degrees. Is that okay? Since this triangle is a 90 degrees here, we can easily apply the name what SOHCAHTOA. So SOHCAHTOA, we are going to use a tan. Why tan? Why tan? Because we have here to be a 51 degrees. Is that okay? Because we know that tan is equal to opposite. We are given this portion, which is 6 meters. So 51 is the opposite. Opposite. If you are here, this guy will be opposite. So if you are here, if you are here, then this guy will be your opposite. So okay, so here will be your opposite. Down here is the adjacent, and then here will be what? The hypotenuse. If you want to know more about this thing, subscribe to the channel. You have a full video on what on this trigonometry. Okay, now if you proceed up at this point, you are going to have 51 times 51 here. That is equal to the PV. So the PV here, have you see? So P and a V from the school to maybe some point here, right? From the school to some point, that will be your opposite. So divided by what? Adjacent. So as I said earlier, adjacent will be from the V to the chapel, right? So this V here to the chapel down here. Okay, now so tan 51 that is equal to PV divided by what? UV. So we know that this PV is what 6 meters. So tan 51 that is equal to 6 meters divided by what? UV. It's okay, just manipulate this. So you do the cross multiply. This guy will multiply that and then divided by what? Tan 51. Is that, if you don't know how to do this, just make sure that you comment that below. Okay, so if you perform that calculation, you are going to have what? 4.86 meters. So this is just to two decimal places. So okay, so 4.8 meters. So the same thing applies to the second angle. So why are we doing all this? We are doing all this thing to determine the distance from what? From your home to what? Your childhood's what? House. Is that okay? So the childhood's friend's house. Now you're able to find from here to here. So if you're able to get from here to the what? To the final point here, we can easily determine that the length or the distance from here to here is the same distance from what? Here to here, because this diagram is the same thing. Is that okay? So if the same road that passes here to your childhood's friends, or this will be the same road that's from this V here to the W. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, now you have here to here to be what? 4.87. So let's determine from what? The chapel to what? To the W, right? So that's with the same approach. Is that okay? The same approach, very, very simple. Now, with the same idea, as I said earlier, we have that a triangle TUW, right? So TUW, let's have a look at that. So TUW, so maybe let's say the playing ground here, TU with in the chapel, as well as this W, the joint here. That is the triangle that we are having. So if you are here, you can see that this line here will be opposite from the park to the W will be your opposite, and then this is the angle that we are having. And then here will be what? Your adjacent. Is that okay? So that should be your adjacent, and then here will be what? The hypotenuse in mathematics, as we all say. So for us to determine here, the same scenario, so you are going to have tan what? tan 20. So you have tan 20 L also equal to TW divided by what? UW. So that is very, very simple. So perform the same what manipulation, then you are going to have what tan what 20 is equal to what? 4 over what UW. So this 4 here is what? The T to what? The W, right? So the T to W, that was what? 4 meters. So if you run up, you are going to have the W. So we are looking for the UW, right? So UW here, that's from the chapel to the joint here. Is that okay? From the chapel. So this is the chapel. So from here to here is our UW. So if you have that, you are going to get 10.99 meters. Is that okay? So 10.99 meters. So if here is what 10.99 meters, then that is very, very simple, right? So that's very, very simple. Here we already find here that should be 4.8 A6, and then here was 10.99, right? So 10.9. This line here is the same line from what? From your home to to the childhood friends. Can you see that? So if you combine this and then this one, we are going to have the whole distance, the whole length from your home to your childhood. So right, that is exactly what the question is asking us to find. So you can see that this is the distance between the Q, which is your home, to your childhood friends, or that is what X here. So if you combine these two people, we are going to have what 15.85 meters. So that is the distance between what your home and what your childhood friends house. Now here is the second part of the question. The second part says that you should determine the angle of depression. So the angle of depression of what x from you. So x from you is that s from you, meaning that you are here. Is that okay? So pay attention to that preposition. So that's what x from you. So you are here. So you want to determine the angle of depression. So the angle of depression, yeah, that's just the vice versa of the angle of elevation. So where you are determines the angle. Is that okay? If you are here, the angle of elevation is going up, right? So this is the angle that we are talking about. So if you are here, the angle of depression, so something being depressed, right? Or maybe you're depressed in some way. So that's what you are going down. So the angle of depression is what facing down. So you are here. This is the angle that we are talking about. Is that okay? So the angle of depression of X here. So maybe that was your childhood friend's house, and then from what you, that's the chapel. So the angle here. So how long are you going to turn before you get to the root of your childhood friend? So we want to determine the angle. That's very, very simple. So we know here, right? We know here. We know the distance from this joint here, which is the W, to your childhood friend. That's what 4 meters. What again do you know? We've already found here to be what 10.99. Is that okay? From the first part. So the distance from here to here is 10 point. That was very easy to calculate this angle. Of course, we are going to use the tan, right? So the tan, that is the tangent, right? So the tangent theta. So the theta, we are calling this portion a theta. That is just an angle. Is that okay? So we are calling that also a theta. So theta. So let's say a theta. We are letting this theta here to be the angle of depression of x from you, right? So the angle of depression from s to uh, of x from you. That's all. So you have the tan theta, that's opposite, right? So opposite will be what? The w at x. So the w here, here's the w, right? So the w x here. So from this joint to your childhood friend, that's 4 centimeters, and divided by what? The adjacent. So pay close attention. If you are here, if this guy is your opposite, and then here will be the top, here will be your adjacent. Always what we call the hypotenuse is the longest side of the triangle. Can you see that this forms a triangle, right? Okay, very, very simple there. We have what? WS divided by what? UW. So what's the opposite of our hypotenuse? You have the opposite to your the 4, and then the adjacent to be 10.99. So this one will give us 0.3 or 36. Is that okay? Remember what we are looking for. They say we should determine the angle. So the angle is the theta, right? So the angle is the theta here. So you have tan theta here. So the tangent of this theta is equal to 0.36. Is that okay? For you to have this theta here, that's what you have to take the tan inverse. That's how we call it in mathematics, right? So maybe if you move from this joint to somewhere here, if you want to return, you have to go the other way around. So that's what the inverse of the direction. Is that okay? So that's the inverse of that direction. So the same scenario we are applying here. So if you want to determine this theta here, we are going to take out the tan inverse, right? So the tan inverse of this guy, that's the 0.36 here, will be what? 20 degrees, just to two decimal places. That's what the question says. So this is the angle for depression of X from what? From you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, comment down below if you have any issues.